Whether you're crying in the bathroom at work or you're just waking up thinking, I don't want to do this, make the space for yourself to find that person again. I was the senior vice president of sales and marketing. I was responsible for things that a grown-up is responsible for, and I'm crying at work. At some point, it made sense. We have a moment where we realize I'm wearing the wrong costume. I've climbed the wrong ladder. What am I doing? Like, I'm chasing titles that I don't even care about. I got fired from a job that I'd really wanted to quit. And honestly, in Florence, I really felt like I had my own little eat, pray, love moment, because I woke up at like 2 a.m. and it was not jet lag. It was just like my mind couldn't stop. I was like, it's this. Being emotional, being okay with being sensitive. I think a lot of times I was just deemed extra. You got to lean into it. Like, sequins were made for every day. Don't save them for a special occasion.
Have you ever spent years building something, climbing, performing, succeeding by every metric that matters, and then one day you woke up and you thought, this isn't mine? Like, the life you built looks right, it checks the boxes, people congratulate you on it, but somewhere deep down you know this is someone else's version of success, and you've been wearing it like a costume. What happens when you finally take it off? My guest today spent 20 years in corporate sales and marketing, 20 years climbing, 20 years performing, 20 years being the perfectionist who got it right every single time. And then she did something that most people only fantasize about. She left. Not gracefully, not with a 5-year plan. She just decided the view from the top wasn't worth the climb, and she walked away. And then, because that wasn't brave enough, she launched a podcast. Rebranded it publicly, changed the name, changed the direction, changed everything in front of everyone. No hiding, no starting over quietly. Just, here I am. This is who I actually am. Watch me figure it out in real time and in front of y'all. Shining a light on the songwriters, the chefs, the creators, the people behind the scenes who make this city extraordinary. Not the celebrities, the real people. This is Amanda Adams. And if you ever felt trapped inside a version of success that doesn't actually feel like yours, this conversation is going to set something free in you. So I want to welcome you, Amanda, to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Wow. I mean, that was actually, hearing it out loud. I thought, well, it is kind of scary and crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But you nailed it. I mean, that's been the journey.
Yeah. And it's inspiring. So the women listening today, they might have that thing on their heart, and they've spent all that time in corporate, right, building the thing. Mm-hmm. And so they're listening today. And so I just want to let you know that that's what they're working on. That's what's stirring in their heart. So you spent 20 years in corporate sales and marketing. And then you looked around and you were like, this isn't it.
Yeah. So, it's funny. You build something because at some point it made sense, right? Yeah. And then I think if we're brave, we have good therapy. Yeah. We have a moment where we realize that, yeah, maybe I'm wearing the wrong costume. I think that was the word you used that I really liked. Yeah. And so what was funny to me was when before I unraveled everything out loud, then I went back in time and kind of looked at, when did it kind of feel off? Yeah. And it had been a long time. Right. It was something that I chose to do because it fit for a minute, but then you're on it and you're building and you're climbing and you're like, I'm on this ladder. How do you get off? Right. And if you think about a ladder in general, it's a lot easier to climb up than climb down. Yeah. And so you have to jump. And I think, I looked back at the last, 5 or 6 years of life, and I'd remembered a conversation I had with a friend of mine when I was living in Germany. I'd checked that box of getting the international job that I'd always wanted. Oh, wow. And I was on the train and I had called a friend and, she was ending her day. I was beginning my day. And I said, I've climbed the wrong ladder. What am I doing? Like, I'm chasing titles that I don't even care about. Yeah. But I chased it for 5 years after that. Yeah. So it's not easy. You don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to throw it away. Right. But it's worth it. So there was something stirring in you. Like, when did you first notice that something was off? Like, when did you notice like it was time to maybe leave, even if you didn't leave? Yeah, I think it was, so, I started my corporate career in outside sales and working with, actually at the time I was working with opticians in Walmarts and LensCrafters and things. And it was a really fun job. I was 25. I was traveling all over the Southeast, and and helping people get better at what they do. I love that. Like investing in other people.
Yeah.
There's nothing more fun.
Right.
And so that was the job that kind of got me into corporate. And so from there, the natural progression is you take on different territories, you take on different roles. I moved to Florida for a territory, opened something new there in a new market. And then you're supposed to lead.
Yeah.
So you know, the trajectory is sales manager, regional manager, maybe then you get to the VP level. And so you see the path that's laid out in front of you. But for me, I think I just thought, yeah, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And it does make other people feel proud, right? So there are other people that can then say, oh, look at what you're accomplishing. Wow, you did such a great job. You were number one at this. Oh, you got the promotion. But for me, I feel like when I started losing that connection with the people that were like those people that I was serving at the very beginning, the people that I loved just giving them that support to make their lives better.
Yeah.
And the higher you climb, the farther you get from that frontline fun.
Yeah.
And so I climbed because that's where the money is and it's what you're supposed to do. But then I was realizing very quickly that it just didn't make sense for me because I was now behind the scenes doing things that taught me a lot. I'm really grateful for the experience now.
Yeah.
But it took me far, far away from the people.
Yeah. There's also this thing that people say that kind of encourages you to stay where you're at. And I've heard this said before where they just say like, but you're so good at what you do. And so did you ever run into a situation like that where you're like, people just kept kind of keeping you there because you're so good at what you do?
I think I did it to myself. I think I'm really driven. I'm competitive. I like winning. I like standing out. I like making sure that I've done things that people didn't think were possible. And I was in a world where in medical sales, where it's pretty male dominated and then also pretty driven by people who come from the industry. You know, they have specialized credentials. They have that graduate degree, that postdoctorate in something that is specialized in a medical field. I didn't have any of that. You know, I have a degree in communications. And so it was really me challenging myself that I was trying so hard to fit into the box because I wanted to prove it could be done.
There you go.
And that's fun, you know, but also sometimes I think it's a really good reminder to when you look back and I can see all these moments that I was just challenging the system so much that it should have been obvious that maybe I would have been better suited to take those skills somewhere else and have more fun doing that. I don't know, you know? I mean, I'm not one to look back. I don't like regrets. Like, I don't look at it and say 20 years wasted. I mean, because it's 20 years of experience that I'm using every day now.
Yeah.
But it is fun to kind of think back on it and say, you know, were there moments? And I'm like, I think I really did it to myself because I love a challenge.
Yeah. Now, if there's someone watching where they're going, like, I think I'm in that spot. I'm in that place where it's like, I'm starting to really go like, this isn't for me. This thing that I've built for 20 years, maybe it's just 10 or 15 years, but they still feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to make a change. Like, what would you say? What did you learn is the next best step to do?
It's so crazy how many people have messaged me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And just even people I know that have sent texts or they've called since I did this out loud. And like you said, I did it really out loud. I really did say, hey, I'm jumping off and here's what it looks like. And, you know, to tell the full story, like I actually did get fired. The last corporate job, well, I guess not the last one, the one before the last one, because I did take one more corporate job because I was determined to make it fit. But I got fired from a job that I'd really wanted to quit. And so I'm really thankful for that because it was the push that I needed because I was really done. I was exhausted. It wasn't working. I was challenging in ways that I shouldn't have been challenging because it really wasn't a fit anymore. And so you know, it came to a place where it didn't fit for both sides. And that was a blessing. So I would say first, to anyone who's in that position, we should talk about it more.
Right.
And like, we've all had a moment where you had a job that didn't fit. And, you know, don't stay until it doesn't fit. Do something else. And don't find something that looks exactly the same and think it's going to fit, because that's what I kept doing. In the end of my time, I mean, if you look at my LinkedIn, at one point I was like, I'm just going to delete all of this. I left it because I want people to see, like, you can see that at the end I was trying a lot of things.
Right.
And just kept trying things that were the same. And so it's not going to fit. Like, it didn't fit.
Yeah.
So I would say number one, be really just okay with the fact that, like, if it's messy, that's all right. Don't judge yourself for the messy. And the second thing I have said many times to the people who've reached out and said, oh my gosh, like, you're so brave because I'm there. Like, I hate what I'm doing, or I'm exhausted from what I'm doing. I think that's a really common theme. You know, you do something for 10, 20, 25 years. You're like, I'm tired. And you don't know what to do. So I have just told people, the first thing is probably don't just quit your job. You know,
don't listen to what I did.
Don't maybe do it the same way. It's a little bit of a harder road. You know, it's kind of like taking your shoes off and walking across fire. So like, I think the easiest thing to do is, I'm a big fan of interviewing for other jobs. Go look at other jobs out there and see what maybe piques your interest. And look at all the jobs that you see on LinkedIn. If there's something that you're like, wow, I think that sounds fun, maybe try to go do that. And also, sometimes in looking for something else, you actually can understand what you don't like right where you are.
Right.
So that's been my best advice, I think, for people. And the other thing is that if it really is, like, if you really are burned out, like I was at what I would think would probably be pretty close to clinical burnout, then at that point, you jump. Jump, take a break, and try on all the different shoes. And that's what I did. I started consulting. I was really, you know, thankful that I have a background that allows me to do that. So a lot of marketing and business consulting. I did a lot of strategy sessions for people, personal branding, all of that kind of stuff. But you can make ends meet, you know? So figure out what that looks like. And if you really do have to jump, then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You can always go back to what you were doing. That's what I keep saying. I'm like, I can always go back.
Yeah. So it's like, you didn't necessarily have like a 5-year plan or a solid plan, but you were able to, like you said, just make ends meet. Like, you're able to figure it out in between.
Yeah, I had no plan.
No plan.
I had no plan.
Zero plan. Yeah.
I had zero plan. My parents will be so proud. But no, I had no plan. And I think that there's also something to be said about being honest about that, because it's okay to not have a plan. I did a lot of jumping into things and trying things on out loud in front of people, because that for me is also how I learn. If you put yourself out there and you have the conversations and you say it out loud, you can figure out really quickly what fits, what gives you energy, what drains you. You know, I guess probably a year and a half ago or a little less, I was really heavy into personal branding, which I know you know really well. And I thought, gosh, I love talking about this with people. So this is what I should do. I was on the path of starting this community. I had an event in St. Louis. I had 40 amazing women there that were all looking to, you know, improve their businesses and their own personal brands. And that event was so good. People enjoyed it so much. Everyone but me.
Oh,
I was miserable.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for me. And that's what I went home from that event and felt like this took everything out of me. And to me, that's a sign. Like, that was a sign that it didn't fit. And so I thought, well, I'm building the wrong thing. And so I tied the little bow on that one and sent it off into the river. I was like, oh, great, that idea's out, you know? But ideas will come if you just keep trying.
Right. And the best way to know if you're on the right path, if it's even a good fit for you, is just to try it. Like you said, like, I've had people say like, oh, I want to be a coach. And then they do their first coaching call or two and they're like, I hate this. And it's like, yeah, try it. And then roll it out before you start building something that you hate, right?
Yes.
But at least get out there and try it.
Try it all.
Yeah.
I went to a really cute little retail shop that I absolutely love, because I thought, well, I'd like to just own a shop. Maybe that's what I'll do. And I'll just take my dog every day and we'll sell cute things. And so I thought, well, I'll go work at one, because I haven't worked retail in 20 plus years. I loved my time at Banana Republic. So I thought, why not? And so I was like, I'm going to try that on for a minute. And I did the interview and decided, no, that's not it either. But I think that's important, because if you go do the interview, you'll quickly have those triggers that will say, no, that one doesn't fit. But I did. I tried on a lot of things.
Hey, real quick, before we get back into it, I have a free gift for you. Do you feel called to share your story, inspire others, or make a greater impact in the world? Brand Builders Group has helped some of the biggest names on the planet, like Ed Milet, Lewis Howes, and Amy Porterfield. They are using this specific playbook that I want to gift you, And this playbook is going to help you become more recognized for your expertise, get paid more for your unique insights, and make an even greater impact on the world. And I want to gift it to you, the free audiobook version of the New York Times best-selling book, Wealthy and Well-Known. This way you can have the strategies and walk through it and have the tools to build your brand on your own. The link is going to be in the show notes there. Seriously, take me up on it. All right, let's get back into the conversation. I sold real estate for 20 years. And so like you were in corporate, but I was stuck in real estate because it's all I knew. It was really good money. And people kept saying, you're good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I would try and leave, I would get pulled back into it because, you know, it's hard to say no to a real estate deal, right? I'll have someone that says they want to sell their house or buy a house, and I'm pulled right back into it. Then there was a point of my life where I didn't recognize who I was anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, like, I would love to hear you talk about that. Like, how did you find yourself again?
Oh my gosh, I love that question
Yeah.
so much. And I love that you also were able to get into a new place.
To get out of what I hated.
Yeah, because it is like an identity. It's a total
Mhm.
persona that you start wrapping around
Oh,
yourself.
yeah.
And so it's just like I felt like I keep telling people I've been deprogramming myself.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
all the things that you learn. I honestly didn't know how to talk in a way that wasn't corporate speak. It's kind of embarrassing to say, but
Yeah.
because I actually don't think people that worked with me are probably like, well, she wasn't really great at corporate, and I wasn't.
No.
But I was playing the
You
part.
did really well, though.
You know,
Yeah.
I did well, and I played the part. But
Mhm.
like, I think that it was obvious to a lot of people that was like, this isn't the thing for me.
Yeah.
So I've had to just shed the layers, like one
Yeah.
by one, and it takes time. That does not happen overnight, as you probably know. Like,
Yeah.
in fact, like I said, after I was let go from the company and was like, I should do my own thing. I should start my own thing. I didn't know what my own thing was. And I got an awesome opportunity to work with an influencer marketing company, and they needed the things I'm good at in corporate. So I said yes.
Yeah.
I took a full-time job that I didn't intend to do. That was not on my path. But I was like, this sounds great. And it's a
Yeah.
good paycheck and all of the things. Checked all those boxes that I'd been programmed to say were for me. And it didn't fit. And so, I think it's really fun to start finding yourself again. And
Yeah.
the way I did that was just being really, it's so embarrassing, but like you have to make a lot of mistakes out loud.
Yeah.
You have to start having conversations and going back to that little kid. Like I asked myself a lot of questions. Like, what did I like to do when I was little? What were the things that I said I would be when I grew up? Like I asked my mom for all of my old movies. I said, I need you to send me VHS and DVDs and whatever we used to have, you know, those tiny little tapes. And I had them put on digital files. And then I got some really good wine and went down memory lane.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this person that used to be me? Because I lost her. I don't know where she is.
Yeah.
And it was fun. You know, when you see the little kid version of yourself, you kind of then see it from a different perspective. And I'm like, oh, she was kind of fun. Always a little serious, always very loud, always a whole lot extra.
Right. Yeah.
And so then you got to go back and go, well, what does that person do? You know, what would she be doing? She wouldn't be doing this.
Right. Yeah. So when you look at that little girl from who you are today, how did you disconnect from her? Where do you say that happened for you?
Oh, we don't have enough time.
Oh, no.
We don't have enough time.
I'm throwing you like a little side, little side question here.
Yes.
Yeah.
At that we can have like a whole other hour on that.
Exactly,
but you know what? I think everybody would probably answer that the same way. It's like, oh gosh, where does it start?
Right.
Because it does start somewhere. And you start with like, I've read a lot of books in this chapter of finding myself. And one of the things that for women, especially, you know, when we start that like adolescence and anywhere between like 10 and 14, girls start adapting to the world around them in a way that says, what am I supposed to be? And it could be that your friends told you, you know, you look different. Your legs are funny. Your legs are different than mine. Or why are your eyes so big? It could be all these things, right? These are things that happened to me. Like that, I had so many people say things that you start shrinking a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And probably it's just their own insecurities. It doesn't have anything to actually do with you. But I think it starts for a lot of women really, really young. And we start trying to conform and put
Yeah.
ourselves in
Be
boxes
like everyone else,
and maybe
right?
be a little less loud, right? It's that teacher
Mhm.
that says, you talk all the time. And so you say, okay, that clearly isn't good. So I'll talk
Mhm.
less. Or this person, got this and I didn't, I should do that. So we start looking. And I think that would be the probably the place that we all could just assume it happens the first time.
Yeah.
And then I think you make decisions from there. And I think
Mhm.
there were, for me, a few decisions. I married the wrong guy,
Mhm.
and my dad died when I was really young. And I think in that little period of time, there were a lot of things that I was trying to prove to the world around me. So now
Yeah.
I was 25 and divorced, so I didn't want to fail again. So
Mm.
don't try things that you want to try. Do something that you know you can do well. I knew I can sell anything.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so sales and marketing was easy.
Mhm.
And so that put me on that path,
Yeah.
My dad dying young meant I wanted stability for myself. Like I
Right.
really was like, I need to make a lot of money. Like money was the thing I was chasing.
Mhm.
I still want to make a lot of money
Yeah.
because I like nice things.
Right, exactly. Like spend money, right?
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think if you chase the money, then you probably don't end up in the right place in the end. So
Yeah,
if you chase the
exactly.
happiness, chase the things that you love to do, I
Mhm.
think the money can come. It absolutely can. And then you figure out what that money looks like, right?
Right.
It might not be the same thing you thought,
Right.
but yeah, I think that was really what it was for me is that we
Mhm.
start all probably at the same age, figuring out who we are, and maybe we shrink a little. That's what I tell my niece all the time. I'm like, I want her to be big and bold and
Yeah.
loud and do all the crazy things,
Yeah.
Don't conform.
Right.
Be you.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Yeah. But when you know that you've conformed and then you know where you kind of went off track, then you're able to look at it and go, like what you did, looking at your younger self and going, like, this is who I really am. This is who I
Yeah.
really want to be. This is how I want to show up. I've been leaning on like all things cute and I guess like leaning into like the little girl that I once was because I kind of lost my childhood, I would
Mhm.
say.
Mhm.
I didn't really get to live that out. So I like all the things Disney, all the cute things. And I
Yeah.
have an 18-year-old daughter. And so she's obsessed with all the things I was obsessed with, like Pachaco from Sanrio Surprise and like Yoshi from Mario Kart. So it's fun for me because now I get to relive that.
Mhm.
And then that's a little side of me that's just like, is it weird? Yeah, I'm in my 40s and I like these things. I don't care. And
No,
just love it again and
I
just be
don't think
that
it's
person
weird.
again. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I don't think it's weird.
Yeah.
And I also think that if we talk about it more and make
Mhm.
it a little more just mainstream, that's the
Yeah.
other thing, is that I promise you, if you look at my LinkedIn posts, you might see 2 likes on a couple of them, but the message
Yes.
is behind the
Yeah.
scenes
Right.
because people are afraid to like out loud what they want to do.
Mm.
But once you can show somebody that that's okay, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know what? You want to be a Disney princess at this age? Be a Disney princess. Like,
Yeah.
I'm leaning all into all things pink, and
Mhm.
I'm
Same.
right?
Slowly.
Slowly do
Yeah.
it. I'm obsessed with Megan Maroney's new album,
Mhm.
Cloud Nine. I mean, I
Oh,
love
I
that
need to listen
album.
to
I
it.
don't think I'm in her demographic.
Oh, really?
Like
Yeah.
technically, I think I'm too old for her demographic. I don't care. I
Yeah.
love it. And so I think if we just throw that out a little bit and
Mhm.
just be real, then other people will also have the freedom to do that.
Yeah. So, what led you to this brave move of even starting a podcast?
I always wanted to do something like this. I think even
Mhm.
before we knew what podcasts were,
Right.
there are like little cassette tapes of me pretending I was a radio DJ for the
Yeah.
country radio station in my hometown. Shout out to Kix 104 in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And that's hilarious that like there are
Mhm.
all these little things
Little
that
signs.
little signs,
Yeah.
So and I love to talk to people. I
Mhm.
love hearing people's stories. I
Yeah.
love asking people, like, how did you get where you are?
Mhm.
I like asking people who've been married for 25 years, how did you
How'd you
do
do it?
it?
Yeah.
Are you really happy?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think some of it is that I really am an unfiltered person, like for
Yeah.
better or for worse. Like I ask the questions that sometimes my friends will be like, oh no, she's doing it again.
Yeah.
But I like that. So
Mhm.
a podcast made sense because I thought, well, let's get people in here and talk about things.
Yeah.
But I started as like, I have no idea what this is going to be. I changed the name
Right.
of the podcast, I think 4 times.
Yeah.
And that was because I didn't really know. I
Mhm.
thought, let's try this on
Yeah.
and see what fits.
Mhm. Yeah, you just wanted a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so try it out. It's better than not getting started. And you talk about that a lot where perfectionist, how it can hold you back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm a perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Yeah.
You too, probably a
Yes.
little bit.
Recovering, I still am. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring you to the recovering side
Right,
soon.
exactly.
It's I say recovering perfectionist because it's an everyday decision to let it go.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult for me. I am an eldest daughter type A perfectionist.
Yeah.
And I'm a control freak. And I think control freak comes from trauma, because in times of trauma, you control what you can.
Yeah.
And so accepting all of that as part of me has been really fun. And it's also allowed me to say, it's not perfect, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I want people to see that because I really hope that in living this crazy out loud journey that the 20-year-old versions of us, right? The girls out there that are finishing college right now and kind of looking at this crazy world saying, what am I going to do with it? I want them to look up and see lots of possibilities. And I didn't feel that way. I saw I saw pretty standard things. You can be this or this or this, and they were all fine. But I just want to like blow that wide open for people and realize that it's kind of more fun to make mistakes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I heard this interesting, I don't know if I'd call it a statistic, like I don't have the numbers on it, but I was doing a personality test and there's something where a perfectionist and your type of personality, right? Where you just wake up in the morning and you're already finding fault in things. Like you start your day like that. And so someone was describing this to me. It was a personality coach and they're saying that and I'm going, that's not normal. Like people don't just do that when they wake up every day. And he's like, no, they don't. Like that's a trait that you have. That's something that you have to be aware of. So that's actually something that can hold you back. You're waking up and already seeing like, oh, I did this wrong. I did this wrong. Like the moment you wake up.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear that. I talk with my best friend a lot about she'll joke and say, what is it like to be in your head?
Right.
And because there's a lot going on all the time.
Yeah.
But I have a strange combination of perfectionism and insane optimism.
Yeah.
Like over the top, the glass is always half full. Like there's always opportunity ahead.
Yeah.
So I don't and that in itself can be a fault because I don't maybe wake up seeing those things in that way. But my expectations have always been extremely high. So I wake up expecting everyone to have the same high expectations. And that's very unrealistic.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think, what's funny is to me, it's very optimistic. To other people, it probably has come across really negative. Like I've been a people manager in past roles. And I think you either really love working with me, working for me, or you hate it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an in-between because my expectations are really high. I want us to make mistakes. I'm like, make mistakes and make them fast and make them where you can correct them and don't do it again.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe in making the same mistake twice. So it is challenging when you start the day like that. And I think that's a version of what you said, it's like you're looking for these things to fix. And because to me, it's like, how can I improve on yesterday? What did I do yesterday that was like on a scale of 1 to 10, it was an 8 and tomorrow it can be a 10. And how do I get there?
Right.
It's insane.
It's a level of overthinking that most people cannot relate to.
No.
At all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on all the time.
Yep, definitely. So tell me about your podcast. I want to hear more about it.
Yeah. So the podcast is, it's so much fun. And it's, like I said, it has had its own little journey, its identity journey from the beginning.
Right.
And I started because I was so in that corporate zone of like, I'm going to talk to people about their journeys in corporate world because it made sense and it fit. And it's what I talked about for 20 years.
Right.
And then I realized that I wasn't actually very good at that. So,
what was this one called?
Let's see.
The last iteration?
We had so many iterations. Okay. Like we started with so many. Ambition Society is where I started.
Yeah. I
think ambition is a great word. Turns out a lot of people equate ambition to anxiety. I didn't know that, but it really was fun to learn that. See, this is our quirky little brains.
Yeah,
that
we're like, that's a good thing.
A lot of people think
you want to be ambitious.
Right? Yeah, I want to be ambitious.
Right.
But a lot of people think that that's a pretty anxious place to live. Perhaps it is, and we've just acclimated.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's a good question. So that was first, and then we did potential and possibilities because, again, optimist.
Yeah.
And that was just like too long and dumb, and nobody was like, "What are you talking about?" And so then I went to life advice, and I love life advice, and that's still part of the show because I think it's really fun to hear people's life advice. And so my favorite life advice is drink more water. So I named it that. And then I started getting all of these great requests from brands and people who want to talk about health stuff on my podcast. And I was like,
because it sounds like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I missed again.
Right.
And so then I'll tell you, sitting here in the studio, because we both do our podcast here at the podcast house, and had a really fun day of episodes. And I had a really cool guest in that we all we felt it. The energy was good.
Yeah.
And at the end of that day, Zach and I sat together and he said, this is a funny story. I'm going to tell this for the next 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
I'm certain of it. But he said, what was your favorite episode in the last 2 days? Because I think we did 10 in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy. It was fun.
Yeah.
And before I answered it, he said, I'll tell you mine. And that's so unlike Zach.
Yeah. Right.
He's very thoughtful and pensive about it, And so I was like, okay, I'm leaning in. And I did. I leaned in and he told me. And I said, yeah, me too. And it was like, I felt like God had just kind of come down and thumped me on the head with a little acorn, and it was like, hey, I've been trying to get your attention on this thing. And there it was. And then I was leaving for Italy, which all good things start with, I was heading to Florence.
Right, exactly.
and,
Florence.
And honestly, in Florence, I really felt like I had my own little eat, pray, love moment because I woke up at 2 a.m. and it was not jet lag. It was just my mind couldn't stop. I was like, it's this. It's the city that I always wanted to live in. It's, when I was doing Miss Arkansas pageants back at home, I always wanted to be Miss Tennessee. I didn't care about Miss Arkansas, which is weird. I'd never lived in Tennessee at the time. I always wanted to move to Nashville. I moved to Nashville after my divorce, and it was like my independence. It was like my freedom, and it was everything I ever wanted.
Yeah.
And so, and then in finding that, I was like, this is everything I can talk about all day. Because here we are. I've been talking for 12 minutes now.
Yeah.
But I love talking about this because Nashville is it's my spiritual home and it's everything that I feel like is creative and you feel it. We are all trying to aspire to be our best versions. So it finally evolved. And that's the longest answer to that question that I could have given you.
No, that's great. I love that. I wanted to hear about that journey because I think that it's inspiring for people to be able to just start the thing, mess up, right?
Mess up.
And then go, this isn't for me. This doesn't feel right. I've talked to some of my clients where they're saying the podcast isn't landing for me. Their podcast isn't landing for them. And it comes down to what they're talking about doesn't feel right. Either the audience that they're speaking to, and they just don't feel like they're in their wheelhouse. But then when I ask them something else, they could talk all day long about that thing. And I think that's what Zach saw.
Totally.
Was you just lit up and then you're like, I could talk about this forever. This is the thing I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's when you know. That's when you know that you found it.
That's when you know. The obvious thing that's right in front of you sometimes is the last thing that you see because you're assuming a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what I was doing. I was assuming that I could make money doing XYZ.
So
I was assuming I could fill guest spots doing XYZ, right? There are all these assumptions of this is what I can do immediately. That doesn't always mean it's the right thing to do. In fact, the choice I made now has become easy, but it's a little hard at first, right? Because you do a pivot and you have to rebrand and do all of the things. But the other thing is that I think, make the mistakes out loud, but also have a good group of people in your corner that you can have that conversation where you can be introspective out loud.
Yeah.
Because that's when you'll feel it. Because if you can't talk about it and get excited, you can't sell it.
Right. Yeah. People feel that energy.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask you something real quick? Are you the best kept secret in your industry? It's not a trick question. So many of us should be way busier than we are, way more known, way more booked. But here's the truth. People can't trust you if they don't know you exist. And most experts, they're relatively unknown except for their small circle in their industry. And it's not because they're not incredible at what they do. It's because they haven't been able to clearly articulate what it is that they do, who they serve, and what business they actually are in. And that's exactly what Brand Builders Group helps you figure out. We help you craft an intentional personal brand that reflects your truth and deliberately attracts the opportunities and the attention that actually matters. So you can become the #1 go-to trusted expert in your space. If you're ready to start building, growing, and monetizing your personal brand, you can click the link in the show notes and we're offering a free brand strategy call. It's free, it's real, and it might be the conversation that changes everything for you. All right, let's get back into it. Why Nashville? Like, why do you love the Nashville so much?
I originally wanted to move to Nashville to be a singer. I grew
Okay.
up thinking, I would be Faith Hill. That was the goal.
Mhm.
Or Amy Grant.
Mhm.
And she's still on my list of podcast guests. So if she's listening to yours, Amy, call me.
Yes, please.
But yeah, I wanted to be Faith Hill or Amy Grant.
Yeah.
And I was just drawn to that. So when I moved to Nashville, that was part of my plan, was
Mhm.
to get into the music business. And it's a tough business. And so I have such mad appreciation for the songwriters, the producers, the people behind the scenes that we don't know their names, right? Like
Yeah.
every person that wrote these songs on Megan Maroney's album that I'm obsessed with right now. Like
Yeah.
I love learning about them,
Mhm.
So my Nashville dream kind of started that way, and
Yeah.
it's evolved because that's not obviously the path that I chose.
Mhm.
But I'm so inspired by that.
Yeah.
Like I love waking up and seeing the city skyline, and like
Mhm.
you just know it's buzzing with people who
Yeah.
are creating, whether they're creating incredible food or the songs that we're all going to sing or the books that we're going to read. Like and it doesn't even have to be those things, I just think that creative energy is just like, you can kind of taste it.
You can in Nashville. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And it's fun to be around the people that are
Mhm.
like-minded, that are creatives too.
Yes.
So you get an opportunity to interview all these people that are creatives like you.
Yeah. It's
really neat.
so fun. And
Yeah.
like, I just had a couple of people that were a guest who we've already released her episode, and someone who's coming on the show, and they had commented, like one of them commented on the others thing. And I said, just to be in your orbit is like
Aw.
such a blessing,
Yeah.
like these
Love
two
that.
beautiful songwriters with these
Mhm.
voices like of absolute angels, and they're out there just doing it. And that's so scary. Like that's why
Yeah.
I didn't fully pursue that, because it's really terrifying.
Right.
And so they're doing it. They're so brave. And so, yeah, to be able to be trusted with their stories and the
Mhm.
backstories, yeah, it's such a gift.
Yeah. So you're building this thing out. This is fairly new, right?
Mhm.
What scares you the most about this season?
So this probably won't surprise you. I don't get scared of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm scared of mice, but I'm really
Yeah.
not scared of I'm not scared of hard work. I'm not
Right.
scared of betting on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there were more hours in a day.
There you
So I
go.
think, it's like
Yeah.
if I said, what's the thing right now that's like the scariest, is that like some days you feel like the water's a little high,
Yeah.
and getting it all done and trying to do it in a way that says this is where we're gonna be, like
Mhm.
looking at the quote finish line,
Yeah.
and knowing that's where you want to go, and how do you
Mhm.
get there, and how do you get there really fast, because I'm an overachiever and I don't do patience very well.
Yeah.
So that's probably the hardest thing.
Mhm.
But I think when you lock in on what you feel like is your just divine destiny,
Yeah.
then it's not scary.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of divine destiny,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that you want to be known for?
It's so
it's like
hard.
the most simple question. Like,
Yeah.
however, it's the hardest for people to answer. But I think you know what you want to be known for.
I think it's hard for us to answer that because we're just afraid to say it out loud.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's
Yeah.
what it is, right?
Yep, it
I
is.
think I hope that people will say that I bring joy to
Yeah.
everything around me. That's
Yeah.
like I want to be sparkle and sunshine. And when I was in corporate America, that was my MO. Like when I was out seeing, 7 different offices a day in medical
Yeah.
sales, my thing that I said every day when I started my day was I'm going in to be sunshine in their day. Like if I
So
get
good.
to leave and they were like, gosh, that was fun,
Yeah.
then I can check the box that I achieved. Because for me, every time I did that, the sales followed.
Yeah.
It was like I didn't need to be the most technical. I did pride myself in learning that stuff.
Yeah.
But really for me, it's joy and sparkle and sunshine.
Yeah. And the moment you walked in the door, like that is exactly what you bring. I
Aw.
totally felt that. Just
Thanks.
even with us all chatting, we're having a little conversation beforehand, just as girls. And it was just so fun. And you bring that energy up. So if the energy's feeling down, it's like you're the one that like lifts everybody up.
Oh,
That's how I see
thank
it.
you.
So that's sunshine to me.
That's really sweet.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now the show is called Little Extra because I believe that the things that make you extra are actually, that's the thing that makes you magical, makes you sparkle, right? So tell me, what's a thing that people might have called too much that's actually been your edge, your extra?
So many things.
Mhm.
The joy. I mean, I'll tell you, that's a funny one, right?
That is a funny one
But
that people just don't.
people are really a little bit nervous that you're inauthentic if you're bubbly all the time.
Okay.
And so I think that's been a question mark for people, that they're like, yeah,
Mhm.
this can't be real. Am I happy all the time?
Yeah.
No, that's impossible. We
Yeah.
all have bad days. Am I sparkle and sunshine and bubbly pretty much all the time? Yes.
Mhm.
Even when I'm really annoyed.
Yeah.
That's like I'm high energy and I'm pretty emotional. So
Yeah.
I think, being emotional, being okay with being sensitive. I was called talkative a lot. Not
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah.
um, I was really, I think a lot of times I was just deemed extra, which is why I love the
Mm.
name of this show,
Yeah.
because
Thank
it
you.
is the thing. And I
Yeah.
think you and I even had a moment of that on social media where I was like, yes, more of this,
Yeah.
because you got to lean into it. Like,
Mhm.
sequins were made for every day. Don't save them for a
Yeah.
special occasion. Stop
Right.
saving the good china. Like, be extra.
Yeah. Well, you could drink really fine wine when you had a really good day, or you could drink it when you had a really bad day.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll open up a really nice bottle of wine on a Monday or like a basic day, because why not make the day better, right?
I totally
With a really
agree.
nice bottle.
I one time was at this grocery store and I was buying Veuve and bagel bites.
Yeah.
And that was going to be my Monday night dinner.
Amazing.
It's
Yeah.
a great combo, by
I
the
do love
way.
bagel bites. I will say that here. Like I eat like a 9-year-old
Yeah, me
sometimes.
too.
Like I love it.
With my very expensive champagne.
Yep.
And so the person at the store said, "Oh, this is a funny combo. Like, are
Yeah.
you celebrating?" And my favorite way to answer that is, yes, I'm celebrating life.
Right.
Always.
Yeah.
So if you have a bad day, now for me personally, if I have a bad day, I'm drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper.
How are you?
Yeah, because I think that when you have a bad day, for me, it's
Mhm.
like, no, don't go down the rabbit hole. Like, I don't want to
Oh,
get in my
yeah.
feelings and be all
Yeah.
dramatic about it. And I have a
Totally.
tendency to do that.
Right.
And it also kind of keeps it in check, because
Yeah.
if I know that, like, I'm really not allowed to have that good wine at the end of the day, if I had a bad
Mhm.
day,
Yeah.
you have less bad days.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I get that. And you don't want to wallow in it, so have that.
Yeah.
I would have a Diet Coke personally, but I love the
Yes,
Diet
I
Dr.
love a good
Pepper.
Chick-fil-A Diet Dr. Pepper. But I do think you're right that, like, having the good wine on a Monday,
Mhm.
like, don't save
Yeah.
it.
Right. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
make the mediocre day better.
Yeah.
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 It's a good one. So if there's a woman listening right now who is where you were before you became this version of yourself now, so maybe she doesn't even recognize who she is, and she hates waking up every single day to what she's doing. She doesn't have that confidence, that clarity right now. What does she need to hear today from you?
In 2024, I cried pretty much every day at work.
Yeah.
And as I will end with that, because I think it's important as a happy person, as somebody who's bubbly and joyous, to
Yeah.
be like, guys, I cried nearly every day at work.
Mhm.
How embarrassing is that? I was the senior vice president of sales and marketing. I was responsible for things a grown up is responsible for, and I'm crying at work.
Yeah.
So if you're there, whether you're
Mhm.
crying in the bathroom at work or you're just waking up thinking, I don't want to do this, then go ahead and get the books on
Yeah.
all of the things, right? Like, read the self-help books,
Mhm.
load up your Spotify playlist with things that motivate you. Like, just go get CeCe Winans' album and, like, put it on blast or whatever
Yeah.
it is. I
Right.
go between CeCe and Billie Eilish,
Mhm.
Make the space for yourself to find that person again. Go
Yeah.
get the home videos, figure out who she was, go revisit that little girl, and you'll find her. And then you can really get out of that. It's totally possible. On my absolute worst day, would I have believed it? I don't know, because I was like, wow, this is crap. I
Mhm.
don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And on your worst day, you don't know how to, like, find that confidence.
Right.
So take a long bubble bath, get the
Mhm.
home videos, get the good wine, whatever it takes, do all the things. Coloring books, make
Mhm.
mistakes,
Mhm.
put your feet in dirt, like
Yeah.
all the silly things that kids do that get your creative juices flowing again,
Mhm.
and you'll get out of it.
I love that.
And send me a message. I'll be your cheerleader.
Oh, So how can people watch and follow you and what you're doing?
So on Instagram, my personal is at Ask Amanda Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me anything.
Perfect. So they can watch your journey and they can check out your show and they can message you if they
Yes.
need a cheerleader.
If you need a cheerleader, I've got you.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks
It
for
was fun
having
talking.
me. It was so fun.